Despicable Me 3. The film starts with a reporter talking about former child star Balthazar Brat, Trey Parker. He was once the lead in the hit TV series Evil Brat, where he starred as a child inventor criminal mastermind. Unfortunately for Brat, him hitting puberty caused the show to be cancelled, and with his fame withering, Brat lost his mind, believing himself to really be an evil villain. The reporter wonders where Brat will strike next. Brat and his robot henchman Clive, Andy Nyman, are staking out a ship carrying the world's largest diamond. Brat gets his heist music going as he sets off to steal the diamond. He uses self-inflating bubble-gum traps on the ship's guards as he gets closer to it. Hot on his tail are Gru, Steve Carell, and Lucy, Kristen Wiig, plus minions Jerry and Tim, Pierre Coffin. Brat's gum causes the ship to start floating in the air, and Brat gets his hands on the diamond. Lucy launches Gru from the ocean and onto the ship. Gru and Brat dance fight until Gru gets the diamond from Brat. Brat then takes out his keyboard that emits a powerful shockwave that causes Gru's clothes to fly off and leave him dangling off the side of the ship by the gum, allowing Brat to escape. He is seen by a group of people in an office celebrating a birthday party. Gru and Lucy are on their way to the anti-villain League HQ. Director Silas Ramsbottom, Steve Coogan, is retiring, and Valerie Da Vinci, Jenny Slate, is taking his place. Her first act is to fire Gru for letting Brat get away, despite having reclaimed the diamond. Lucy defends Gru and says if he's fired, then they must fire her too. Thus, Gru and Lucy are ejected from the AVL blimp. Upon returning home, Gru and Lucy find that the girls, Margot, Miranda Cosgrove, Edith, Dana Gaier, and Agnes, Nevada Scharrel, have set up a honeymoon in the backyard since Gru and Lucy never got to go on a real one. The two then reluctantly admit to the girls that they both got fired, but they aren't letting it get them down, and they promise to get back on their feet soon enough. Gru goes down to his lab and finds the minions gathered around. Now that they know he isn't with the AVL anymore, the minions want to go back to villainy. Gru tells them that they are not going to do that, especially since Dr. Nefario has frozen himself in carbonite, Han Solo style. One minion, Mel, then puts on a slideshow to compare and contrast how much better theirs and Gru's lives were when they were villains, as opposed to now that Gru is a family man. The minions quit and follow Mel to get into some villainous antics, leaving only Jerry and Tim behind, since they weren't there for the revolt. In Paris, a noted diamond expert goes to check in on the pink diamond that Brat tried to steal. The expert then sheds his disguise to reveal that he is really Brat. He tranquilizes the museum curator and guards before proceeding to steal the diamond. In the morning, Gru sees a newspaper article about Brat stealing the diamond. Gru then notices that Agnes is giving away her toys, including her beloved unicorn doll. She tells Gru she is trying to help out now that her parents have no jobs. Moments later, Gru is approached by a man named Fritz, also Steve Coogan. Gru doesn't want to hear what Fritz has to offer, so he launches him away in a vacuum rocket. Fritz limps back rather quickly and informs Gru that he was sent by his twin brother now that their father has passed away. Gru doesn't believe a word of it since he was told his father died when he was young, but Fritz provides a photograph of baby Gru and his twin, Drew, also Steve Carell. Gru visits his mother Marlena, Julie Andrews, who is having fun with two handsome guys in a pool. Gru interrupts this to question her about whether or not he really does have a twin brother. Marlena admits that when she and Gru's father divorced, they each took one of the twins, and Marlena thinks she got second pick. Despite this, Gru is amazed to learn that he has a twin brother. Gru, Lucy, the girls, and the minions are flown away to the island of Fredonia, where Drew runs a pig farm and is incredibly wealthy. Drew greets his brother, and Gru is in disbelief to see that Drew has a full head of hair. Drew then meets the rest of Gru's family and shows them around his mansion and around the outside. Lucy takes the girls into town while Gru and Drew catch up. In town, Lucy and the girls find themselves in a cheese festival. Lucy lets Edith and Agnes get candy, but Margot tells Lucy, who is trying to make a better connection with the girls, that she can tell them no. The other children in town are gathered for a cheese dance where the girls take and eat cheese off the boys' plates. One boy, Nico, Adrian Siscato, is left by himself. Lucy assertively tells Margot to take the cheese. Margot reluctantly does so, and Nico becomes smitten with her. Meanwhile, Edith and Agnes wander into a pub where Agnes sees a unicorn horn. She talks to the bartender, who says that unicorns exist in the Crooked Forest and that he saw a unicorn so fluffy that he thought he was gonna die. Agnes gets excited and shrieks so loud that Lucy thinks she's in danger, so she jumps in and beats up everyone until she sees the girls are okay. Drew shows Gru a hallway with statues of their ancestors. Drew brings Gru to his own lab, where he has a portrait of their father. Everyone in the Gru family tree was a villain, and their father was proud of the villain that Gru became, but was disappointed with Drew not being as villainous. Drew asks Gru to show him how to be a villain like him, but Gru declines, saying that life is behind him. Drew then shows Gru his high-tech car, which they drive around the island, causing much destruction and nearly getting themselves killed, but Gru is having the most fun he's had in a while. The minions run into the lot of a movie studio and are chased by security guards. They end up on a singing competition show, and they perform a musical bit with pink toilet paper that the audience loves, but the minions still end up arrested. Brat is getting ready to set his evil plan in motion. He is basing it off an episode of Evil Brat, using the diamond and his self-inflating gum. He is going to send Hollywood into space by having his giant robot fire a laser into the earth while the gum floats the city away. Back at Drew's home, Nico visits to tell Margot that because she ate his cheese, she has accepted his engagement. Margot says no and turns Nico away. Moments later, Nico returns with his mother, who angrily berates Margot for turning her son down. Lucy steps in and frightens Nico's mother away when she defends Margot. Margot then hugs Lucy. Agnes and Edith go into the forest to try and catch a unicorn with a bunch of sweets. As they wait to catch a unicorn, a little one-horned goat comes out and eats the sweets. Agnes believes it to be a unicorn, and she names it Lucky. Edith decides not to be the one to break it to her. Now that Gru has been reinvigorated, he plans with Drew on how to break into Brat's lair and get the diamond back. Gru informs Drew that Brat's lair is equipped with heat-seeking missiles and poisonous spikes. Drew gets out some gadgets and spy suits from their father to set their plan in motion. In jail, the minions become the toughest inmates when they take charge over the bigger inmates. However, Mel misses Gru and reminisces about all the times they shared. The minions then gather to build a plane with a net so that they can escape the prison and return to Gru. Gru and Drew fly away to Brat's lair. With their spy suits, they are able to climb past the poison spikes and infiltrate the place. Brat is sleeping with the diamond, but the brothers are able to swipe it from him. Brat catches them and sends his Brat Pack, little Brat action figure robots, to kill them. Gru and Drew find themselves outside the lair, and they nearly fall onto the spikes, but they are saved by Lucy, who had followed them after getting suspicious. Gru tells Lucy he planned to get the diamond back so that they can rejoin the AVL. Drew is upset that Gru lied to him, and they have a fight. Lucy takes the diamond and the girls and Lucky in a jet to return the diamond. She then pulls off her face to reveal she was Brat in disguise. He kidnaps the girls and heads off to set his giant Brat robot loose on Hollywood. The real Lucy is trapped in a closet until Gru finds her and learns that Brat has the girls and the diamond. Gru and Drew reconcile when Drew realizes his nieces are in danger, and they go off to stop Brat. The Brat robot starts stomping into the city as it rises out of the ocean. Brat shoots out the gum, and it starts forming massive bubbles around the city. He drops the girls and Lucky off on a building and leaves them to watch as he continues his destruction. As Gru, Drew, and Lucy are flying toward the city, they pass the minions in their plane, and they turn around to follow Gru. Lucy rushes to save the girls by bouncing on the gum. Gru and Drew fire missiles from their car at the robot as Brat starts firing his laser around the city. The car crashes, and Gru is knocked unconscious. Brat directs his laser in Gru's direction as Drew tries to stop him. In the nick of time, Drew destroys the robot and has Brat come crashing down. Gru then challenges Brat to a dance fight. Gru takes Brat's keyboard and uses it against him to trap him in the gum, allowing Brat to get apprehended by the AVL. The minions then pop the gum and deflate the bubble. The family returns back home. Gru and Lucy get their jobs back. Lucy has earned the girls' love. Drew is staying with the family, but it is now his turn to lead the minions into villainy. They take Gru's rocket car and fly into the night. Gru and Lucy see this, but Gru decides to give Drew a 5-minute head start.